It all began with a NASA dream, and then I moved from Benin City to Lagos, Nigeria, where I took my curiosity for software engineering and passion for UX design, and I morphed that into product management. What is product management? Let's find out. Hey there, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for coming back again if you are an existing subscriber or if you've watched my video in the past. If this is your new time, welcome. I'm super duper grateful that you're here. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Today, I'm going to be talking about an article that I read. And before that, I'm going to be telling you about product management. So you've been hearing the buzzword product management, and there are thousands of resources online actually about what a product manager does. Yeah, there are things you can read, podcasts you can listen to, videos you can watch. But yes, I'm here to add my own 2 cents to what a product manager is. I mean, I have a different perspective to share about product management, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll be talking a little bit about the article that I read. And that article is called "Don't Be a Fool, Don't Be a Product Manager." It's such a funny title. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, what is a product manager, or what is product management? That's a better way to phrase it. What is product management? So for me, I'm not just going to dive in, product management is the intersection between UX design and business. That's like pretty much what you see online. But I'm here to tell you that product management is both an art and a science. Now, product management to me, the way I have understood it over the years, is that product management has to do with UX, which is user experience, has to do with business, it has to do with technology and people, right? There's a lot of people management when it comes to product management. You are managing up, you are managing down, you are managing horizontally as well. Vertically, up, down, horizontally, right? So you're managing your managers, you're managing juniors. That's if you have juniors, right? And then you're also managing the people that you're working with, your teammates, right? So I mean, your teammates may be your product management team. It could be like your Scrum team or whatever, like engineers, developers that you're working with, who may not necessarily be your juniors, right? Some may even be your seniors, but you're managing them as well. So that's why I always say it lies between UX, tech, business, and people. And another thing is, product managers, as a product manager, you manage the product, right? You are not the boss of the people that you are working with, right? You are managing the product. And this just means that there are different aspects to your product, where that's actually where UX, business, and tech come in. So there's the user experience part. Different people are contributing to the user experience part, right? And I say this because for me, I don't think it's just about design. Sometimes legal will come in and tell you, oh, this is not allowed, or this is supposed to be done this way, or risk may tell you that they need certain information, or they don't want certain information, right? Or the marketing team may come and say they want this and that, and then the UX designer has to take all of that and see how best to integrate that into the app. That's why I'm saying that different people may contribute to the UX. They may also contribute to the business, right? The business aspect, because at the end of the day, we're all doing this to make money, right? So there's the business aspect, understanding your business processes. It's also the technology aspect. Most times, product management has to do with software, but there are also hardware products that product managers manage. But at the end of the day, technology is what runs all of these things, right? Someone is either coding the app or they're coding the hardware. You have AI, ML, and all of that integrated. So there's also the technology part, and then there are people. You're talking to people. People are the ones actually doing all of this and carrying out all of these things. So you actually need to know how to interact with people, how to communicate with them, the best way to communicate with them, and all of that. So all of that nitty-gritty. And earlier I had said that product management is both an art and a science. I'll talk about the science part first. So in science, there's something called I think it's called the scientific process. something called the scientific process, and it means that for before anything is considered a theory or anything is considered a law, there are certain steps, right, that we have to go through. For example, gravity. We say, I can't really remember, was it Isaac Newton who came up with the concept of gravity? Whatever goes up must come down. I mean, before Isaac Newton or whoever it was came up with that concept, gravity hadn't existed, but he just brought it into theory to say, oh, whatever goes up must come down, right? And this was a test carried out, um, and then it became a law that this was gravity. So you have observation, which is the first thing. And I'm just going to be linking all of this into product management, right? The scientific bits. So you have observation. So I observe something. I observe that people want to communicate with their family members across the globe without having to think about how a Nigerian number will call a US number, because the service providers that we have in Nigeria are not the same service providers that we have in the US, and we don't really know how to connect. And so someone thought, and WhatsApp was built, right? So you observe something and then you ask a question. Okay, how can I solve this? How can I enable people communicate? How can I make sure that people can watch thousands of movies right from their living room? You ask the question, and then you have a hypothesis. And hypothesis is like an idea of how something is going to work out. So this is where, as a PM, you have an idea or of a product that you want to build. You write the PRD, you tell people, okay, this is what we're building, and then you come up with your MVP, right? And then you test. You have to test all of this. You have A/B testing, and A/B testing is not necessarily about testing. A/B testing is more like you want to compare, right? It's just an example that falls under testing. It might be A/B testing. It might actually be putting this MVP to the market and launching it for people to actually, use, right? So that's where testing comes in. And then you analyze the results. That's where you have data analysis coming as a PM, where you look at the behavior of how people are using your application through Mixpanel, Amplitude, Google Analytics, or whatever tool it is that you use. You study their behavior, you analyze the results and see, okay, people are actually not using this feature, or people tend to prefer this feature, or people want this. People are giving us feedback and saying that they want this, right? So you analyze and you conclude to say, okay, we're going to take out this feature, or we're going to improve this feature, or we're going to add this feature. You conclude, and then the last part, which is actually not really part of the scientific process, but when you look at it, you see arrows that go in and out of each other, is the iteration. And iteration is something that product managers do, where you go through that whole cycle, right? There's also the software development cycle, right? And for Agile, it is iterating. Waterfall, not so much of an iteration is done until you get to the last stage. But for an iteration is done, but till you get to the last stage. But as in Agile, the iteration is done like at every stage, right? So there can be iteration done at every stage. So you have an idea, test it out, put it in the market, study it, and then you iterate. Make sure that the next version is better than the last. You have your version 2, version 3, version 4, version 1000. So that's pretty much what a product manager does. Not really exactly. This is majorly based on the development process. There are a whole lot of other things that a product manager does, specifically strategy, right? So when asked, they will tell you that the product manager is in charge of the vision of the product and strategy of the product, right? So I have an app, and this app, at the beginning, I just want people to be able to communicate via text messages, and this is WhatsApp, right? But the vision I have is I want people to be able to communicate freely and easily, right? That's the vision that I have, and I want it to be like the number one app in the world or something like that. Okay, for you to be number one, there are lots of things that have to be done. You have to fight your competitors. You have to make sure that when users think of communicating with other people, your app is the first thing that comes to their mind. So you want to make sure that the experience for these people are better. So you might push out your MVP with just allowing them to send text messages, and the next thing you know, you have people being able to send voice notes. You have people being able to send pictures, videos, files. You have WhatsApp updates where you can actually like post VNs, voice notes, post pictures, post videos, and people can reply to this. And I think that's a strategy for making people use the app more, because oh, I see someone's video, it's funny, I reply ha ha ha. I'm texting, I'm using the app because there's something that's keeping me there, there's something that's entertaining. So it's not just it's communication, but it's not like, oh, I thought of this person and I wanted to reach out. It's like, oh, okay, this person is in my site, I haven't talked to you in a long time, or I find your content interesting that you have posted, you have shared your mind, and I agree, I disagree, or whatever it is. At the end of the day, people are now using your app for frequent communication, and you try to improve this, try to improve the quality of their experience, either by making picture resolutions higher, or making sure that they can post longer videos and all of that. I remember when Instagram started, you could only post a maximum of 15 seconds for your video. Then it was 1 minute, and now you can post a very long video. I don't know if there's a max just yet, but I know you can post even an hour of video content on your feed right now. So you may not start a certain way, but you have a vision, and so you keep on iterating, you keep on building, and the product manager is the one in charge of all these ideas, making sure that you may not necessarily be the one designing or be the one actually coding and implementing this, but having the vision, having a strategy, saying, okay, this is where I want the product to be, these are the milestones, this is how we're going to achieve it, studying your users, studying the market, studying your competitors, seeing how best to make your product better, testing it, doing a lot of A/B testing. Instagram does a lot of A/B testing, if you guys don't know. That is why sometimes someone has a feature and you're like, oh, I don't have this feature yet. That's A/B testing, right? And I've noticed that they test A/B testing like in different countries, because people in different countries have different behaviors. Recently I was reading about how the US audience is different from the Japanese audience, and we're just mind-blowing about how the Japanese prefer more like text information and how Americans are more visually inclined. So that's a whole article for another day, or a whole talk for another day, if I'm going to talk about it anyway. But yeah, those are just major things that a PM should do. So a PM is someone who is always learning, who is innovative, always trying to make their product better, right? Most times people say that the product manager is the mother. It's like a mother, right? So you give birth to a child. So they say product manager is the mother, the project manager is the what's it called? Can't remember the name, but there's someone who helps when giving birth. I can't remember the name right now, but probably going to link it somewhere when I'm editing this video. But when the mother gives birth to a child, she doesn't just leave the child like, oh, I've given birth to the child and that's it. But you give birth to the child, you look at the child as the child is growing, you're trying to make the child better, you're doing things to make your child better, So that's similar to what the product manager does as regards their product. That's why some product managers call their products their babies. So yeah, as a product manager, there are different skills to have, and I'm going to be talking about some hard skills and some soft skills that you can have as a product manager. So some skills you can have as a product manager cut across different things. They cut across design, product design, strategy, analytics, growth, technical, QA, and even people, right? And I'll talk about why I said that they cut across people as well. So let's talk about hard skills, just some hard skills. When you talk about design, you as a PM, you may want to know how to conduct UX research. UX research is about talking to people, getting their feedback, knowing how to present this feedback, right? Like making a presentation out of it. It might even require wireframing. A lot of people say, oh, as a PM, you don't need to know how to draw wireframes. I mean, it's not necessary, but I feel like as a PM, you wear many hats, and while wearing many hats, it's also helpful for you to have knowledge of certain skills. There are a lot of things that people tell you is not necessary as a PM. As a PM, it's not necessary for you to know how to code, it's not necessary for you to know how to design, it's not necessary for you to know how to use SQL and Python and data analytics tools. But at the end of the day, they are very helpful, and they help to convey your importance and your value as a PM when you have some of the skills. I mean, I don't think you can have all of them, but when you have some of the skills, they are very, very important. And sometimes they can even make your work easier, right? In a way, oh, you don't have to wait for someone to do something for you. You can do it by yourself, right? So you have wireframing. I have a video that teaches how to use Whimsical and Figma as a product manager. Just the basics. Okay, this is how you draw a button. This is how you draw an image and all of that. So there's that. Strategy is pretty much I don't know if I should call it a hard skill. It's most likely a soft skill, but you need to know how to do a lot of research, right? Study in industry trends, market trends, know how to make your product better, know how to do your roadmaps and all of that, right? That has to do with strategy, right? When you talk about analytics, okay, do you want to learn SQL? Do you want to learn Python? What are you doing to improve your analysis skill or analytical skills? That's also similar to growth. Do you want to learn SEOs? Do you want to learn marketing strategies? How to write content. You don't necessarily have to wait for a UX writer to do that. You want to learn, like, improve your writing skills and all of that. I mean, as a PM, your writing skills are also important, especially when you're communicating things to like management or sending an email or writing a PRD. Those skills are important. You want to actually improve your technical skills. Some PMs want to learn how to code. Some PMs come from coding backgrounds, right? So is this something you want to learn? Do you want to know how to build your application by yourself? Let's say you want to launch an MVP and all the developers are busy. Can you quickly whip something up by yourself? It mustn't necessarily even be HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It could be a no-code tool. Learn how to use Webflow, learn how to use Bubble, learn how to use Framer. These are examples of no-code tools, right? Do you know how to test your application? And this is like quality assurance testing. As a PM, I don't think your product should go to market without you actually testing it by yourself. You need to be able to pick out these things. Even after your QA has tested, you need to be able to look at your application, know that, oh, this is working, look out for the edge cases. Okay, yes, the user is supposed to click on button A, or what if they don't click on button A? What if they mistakenly click on button B? What happens? Are they redirected to where they're supposed to go, or is that singular action going to leave the user completely lost? These are things you have to look out for when it comes to QA testing. Then soft skills. I mentioned people, and this is more of the soft skills. I remember saying that PM is science and art, and this is where the art part comes in. With science, when you have carried out your scientific process and you have tested something and you have a conclusion, you can either conclude that, oh, this is wrong, or you can conclude that this is right. And it becomes a theory. And when that theory is proven over time, it becomes a law. That's why we have certain laws of gravity, laws of motion, and all of that, because these are theories that have been proven over time and considered to be true. With product management, it may not necessarily be like that, because people are generally unpredictable. This is for your customers. These are the people that you work with. People are unpredictable. You can't say, oh, because someone reacted this way in this situation doesn't mean that they will react the same way in another situation. That's why you can have a product doing exactly the same thing, and then you have different customers, or you have people who prefer one product over the other. You can't necessarily determine that, oh, this is how everybody is going to react. And that is why you can't build for the whole world, because people are going to react in different ways, right? So when we're talking about people, you need to learn how to improve your communication skills, both orally and verbally. And I also like to add, whenever I'm talking about communication, that there's also the psychological aspect, right? Someone might love talking to you over the phone, other person prefers text, other person prefers video calls, other person prefers using stickers and emojis, right? It could also be a situation where um, you're talking to, you have different developers. One of them is always available to talk to you at night. The other one is better reached in the morning. The other one doesn't like being disturbed on the weekends. Just being able to understand how to communicate with the different people that you're working with, even your managers, learn how to communicate with them. Or is this someone who likes a lot of information? Is this someone who doesn't like a lot of information? Is this someone who doesn't mind one-on-ones? Is this someone who is too busy for one-on-ones? How best can I reach this person? What time of the week is this person most responsive? Also need to learn how to negotiate. Negotiation is not just about your salary and your benefits. Even at work, learn how to negotiate. Oh, my manager wants me to launch this thing and it has 15 features. This is the time frame. They want me to launch 15 features in a month. I know it's not going to be possible. I've asked the developers, I've talked to them, and they say they can only deliver 10. I take this to my manager, I explain, I negotiate. Let them know that, oh, this is it. Learn how to negotiate. Those are just like some skills to know as a PM. There's also something people call product sense. I feel like product sense is developed with the more experience, like the more experience that you have, is why you have senior PMs and senior developers and senior designers, and you bring a problem to them, and instead of them racking their brain, they can just give you an answer easily because of experience and because they've done something like that in the past, so they know how to handle it, right? um what other soft skill can I think of right now? I think communication tops it all, to be very honest, because as a PM, you really need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to negotiate. You need to learn how to mitigate risks and all of that. So there are different types of product managers, right? And I'm going to just be talking about six of them, and I'm not sure if there are other types of product managers. New things come out every day, but I'm just going to be talking about these six types of product managers for now. So the very first type of product manager I'm going to be talking about is the technical product manager. This type of product manager is the one who works closely with engineers. Most times, technical managers come from an engineering background. This is someone who has been in software engineering for a while and decided to move into product manager, move into product management. These are like most people, or the majority of people that you will find as technical PMs. They deal with like APIs and all of those technical stuff. I don't really know much about the technical stuff, but yeah, they deal with APIs, building products for engineers, right? So like building APIs and products that engineers would use. Then we have the data PMs. I don't know if this has a lot of popularity just yet, because I recently learned about data PMs, but data PMs are PMs who build like for they build data platforms, right? Code pipelines and all of that. Those are data PMs. And then you have UX. Now this one is also I think is also not so popular, because I know there was a time I wanted to, like be a UX product manager, and I was, trying to do some research about it, and I didn't find like a lot of information. But a UX product manager is the one who focuses on the user experience part of the product, right? And then you have the growth product manager. You also hear people calling growth PMs, product marketing managers, growth specialists. I think they're pretty much the same. So they deal with like the marketing bits, come up with marketing strategies, study the behaviors, have like data analysis, experience and knowledge, how to better market the product. Okay, this is how users are reacting to this. What features do we build, or what features do we add to make their experience better, right? And then we have the generalist. Generalist is one who is not necessarily tilted to one side. You are not technically inclined, you are not marketing inclined, like you're not just focused on one part, you are focused on everything. So if we have to um, if you have to look at the marketing trends and build a marketing strategy, you are there. You have to focus on the user experience aspect, you're there. Focus on the technical part, you're there. So that's more of a generalist, right? You're not specialized in a particular field, you pretty much are everywhere. And then the last one is the product owner. So this is not controversial. I was going to say it was controversial, but it's not. A product owner is not a type of product manager. A product owner is actually a product owner in the Scrum setting, right? So when you have Scrum, you have the product owner, you have the Scrum master, and then you have the Scrum team. And the Scrum team can consist of like engineers, designers, QA, right? So in most cases, the product owner is actually the same as the product manager. Now, people have gone ahead to differentiate these two roles where they have a PM and a PO, but a PM is actually supposed to be a PO, but just in the Scrum setting. PO, product owner, is actually meant to be a title and not a job role, right? So um well, it's we don't find it that way in a lot of companies, but that's typically how it's supposed to be. So these are the types of product managers, and you can, most times people start out as generalists, except they have come from a different background. So let's say, for example, someone has been a software engineer, they can pivot to like technical PM, or someone has been a marketer, they can easily pivot to being a growth PM or a product marketing manager. So that's pretty much what I have to say about what a product manager does. Now, a little bit about the article that I read. Don't be a fool, don't be a PM, which I just want to talk about it a little bit. So it was an article where this person was talking about how, as a PM, your work is not really visible, because PMs have like, we really dwell on the soft skill part where you're talking to people. So at the end of the day, it's like you didn't really get any work done. You're not the one that coded, you're not the one that designed. So what is it really that you did, right? And these days we see that in the recent layoffs that are going on, and because of the economy and stuff, sometimes PMs are laid off, right? PMs are beginning to get affected in these layoffs and all of that. So he said, don't be a PM, because as a PM, your work is not really visible, and sometimes it is not appreciated. And a lot of PMs have this complaint where they are faced with like building strategy and all of that, and whenever there's an issue, it all falls back to the PM. Most people would blame the PM when something doesn't work out, but when it works out, other people get the glory and the PM is pushed to the back. This is something that a lot of product managers have complained about in the past. So I completely understand where this person is coming from. However, I shared this on Twitter and I asked people what they thought. And a lot of people actually agreed with the article, but then at the end of the day, people were like, if you don't want to fall into the trap of being laid off and all of that, you have to be valuable. You have to prove yourself to be extra valuable. How do you prove yourself to be extra valuable? These are things that I've talked about in the past. You have to know how to actually show your worth. Like, let it be that if you are not around, everywhere is in chaos, right? People don't really know what to do. So you need to be an extraordinary PM, right? You need to put in extraordinary work. If it means learning a hard skill or two, like data analysis, just something extra to put to the table. Is it content writing? Just an extra skill that you can add to your portfolio of knowledge or whatever, just to show that you are invaluable. That will really help. So this wasn't to discourage you, and I really shouldn't have saved it for the last, or should I have? I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you know you want to be a product manager, please go for it. Please learn about it. Ask questions. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask me. I would make myself easily accessible. I plan to sign up on ADP list as a mentor, but if I don't get to do that, I'll probably have like a calendar where people can just book sessions and talk to me and ask whatever questions it is that they want to know about product management. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment. I really appreciate knowing your thoughts. I really appreciate, you know, knowing your questions, whatever it is that you want me to make a video about, taking suggestions. Share it with a friend, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.